Pauline Hanson is back and she's making some noise. One Nation may well take the upper house balance of power in the upcoming WA elections, and she might do even better in Queensland by the end of the year. The Senator told me she regularly texts her advice to Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, although they are currently at odds over her comments at the weekend endorsing Russian leader Vladimir Putin and saying parents should be allowed to make up their own minds about vaccinating their kids. I sat down with Senator Hanson at her Brisbane office a couple of days before she made those comments. We talked about power, Trump, Islam and feminism.
Labor has approached One Nation group. I think the burqa should absolutely go.
A lot of people with you, trust me, okay?
You line up a number of Muslims. Who's the good one? People actually want to see One Nation in power, and that's what I'm picking up all the time.
What's left of our freedom of speech.
Last time no one would talk to me in the halls of Parliament, so this time they're knocking on my door all the time.
Pauline, good to see you.
Thank you.
Senator Hanson, good to see you, I should say. You've just come back from the Burrum Buttock Hay Run, which is important to you. How important is that to you? Because you've done it 3 times now.
Yeah, it was my 3rd trip. It's wonderful, really is. The signs that we pass along the way, they're saying thank you. It's good to know that someone cares.
It's very emotional. I just wish I could get through to the police how tough people are doing it.
I've got farmers telling me I'm telling my kids to leave the land. There's no future on the land. And that's our greatest asset.
That part of Australia is really One Nation heartland. It's your heartland, isn't it? It used to be National's heartland.
Yep.
But you're out Barnabying Barnaby now.
I think anyone can what was it?
Barnaby.
Anyone could do that.
Don't tell Barnaby.
Well, I'm telling him, get your act together. I tell you what, he's been in the halls of Parliament too long. He's lost touch with the people. He does not understand. He doesn't get it.
The latest opinion polls out this week are extraordinary for you. You've doubled your vote since, I think, December, and I think you're polling something like 23% in Queensland. Is that better than you could have imagined when you had another crack at this last year?
Better than what I imagined? No.
Did you know it would go this well? Were you that confident?
Yeah. It's higher than that. It's bigger now than what it was in 1998.
Why do you think it is?
The grumbling from the people, they're actually fed up with both sides of politics, whether it be the Liberal, Labor or the Nationals, and they certainly don't want the Greens. So they just had a gutful of the whole damn lot of them. They feel they're not being listened to. Australia is going to slide into a third world country if we do not get our act together. That's my opinion. You've got more and more poverty that's happening. People can't afford the cost of living.
I think one of your cut-through areas, and it's probably an area that is most often mentioned with you, is that you're anti-immigration and specifically, I think, anti-Muslim immigration. Do you concede that there are reasonable law-abiding Muslims that are paying the price for the fear that extremists have caused in the Western world and in Australia?
Oh, do I feel that? Well, I hear it from the other side. I hear Australians that have lived just a nice, quiet life in their suburbs, and then they've had Muslims come in there who actually have changed their suburbs. They've built these mosques and they have cars parked across their driveway, or they have rubbish thrown over their fences, or they go and knock on the door finally because they won't sell out and threaten them, listen mate, you better take this suitcase full of cash and get out of here. It's having an impact, in our educational system, in our schools, swimming bars, their attitude, If these people want to come to live here, respect our laws, even in courtrooms, they have no respect for the judges, won't even stand up. I think the burqa should absolutely go. This is, it's Australia. The full face covering, I think, is wrong. If they want to live that way, and you know, have their laws, Sharia law and all the rest of it, I suggest go to a Muslim country.
So I'm listening really carefully to you because I'm trying to figure out whether you actually draw a distinction between Muslim extremists and fundamentalism and ordinary mainstream law-abiding Muslims. Do you draw a distinction, or are you...
Well, I have, because I've met some Muslims, and actually we've got a couple in our party who have joined our party. You can be a Muslim because you're born in a Muslim country. You're automatically Muslim. But it doesn't mean to say that you're a practising Muslim. So there is a difference there.
So are you suspicious of all Muslims? Are you saying that you have a blanket suspicion of Islam and you don't draw distinctions between individuals?
It's very hard. I wish I didn't feel that way, but a lot of Australians do feel that way.
And
so
you do?
If you understand Islam, it's like they can actually lie to you. It's called taqiyya, and they can actually tell you whatever they want to. It's to blend into a society till the numbers grow, and then they will actually then impose their will on the people or get hold of governments. And this is what their tactic is.
So there's no Muslim is a good Muslim?
Look, I do believe there are some that want to actually live a quiet life and a good life. But Tracy, you tell me, you line up a number of Muslims. Who's the good one?
Stay with us. We'll continue that discussion with Senator Pauline Hanson after the break. Welcome back. Senator Pauline Hanson is passionate about Australia. She holds old-fashioned values and loyalties that are resonating in these uncertain times, especially in rural and regional areas. Like President Donald Trump, whom she admires, Senator Hanson doesn't have many grey areas. In fact, you could say she's very black and white. So there's no Muslim is a good Muslim?
I do believe there are some that want to actually live a quiet life and a good life. But Tracy, you tell me, you line up a number of Muslims. Who's the good one? Who's not?
I must admit, I hadn't realised you were as extreme in your views. That's why I wanted to talk to you about this, because
why am I extreme? Why?
I guess
Where's my extreme?
I guess because it's such a blanket condemnation of a religion.
Why are the Muslims who want to live quiet, good life, why aren't they speaking up more? How often do we ever hear from them? Very, very rare.
They say that they do speak up, and they say that there's not a mood to listen to them.
So it's not me. I'm not saying going out there and protest against building of mosques. People themselves are doing it. This is the only religion. We have never gone out there to protest against any other religion.
Let's talk about feminism. You said once that you don't see yourself as a feminist. Is that still true?
Oh, yeah.
Why not? What do you see feminism as?
Oh, I think these feminists have a problem with their own skin, who they are. You know, they've got to prove something.
And you have copped sexism, misogyny. You've been criticised over your political career for your wardrobe, I think the shape of your legs. Nonsense.
Oh, really?
But, you know, it's a nonsense. And I don't think any feminist, whether they agreed with your politics or not, would be happy to see what has been done to you because you're female.
Oh, yeah? Where's the feminists? When they ever stand up for me? Everything that's been thrown at me with all the media and everything over the years, where were they, Tracy? Not to be seen. All right? I couldn't care less what anyone says about this because I've got my self-esteem and self-respect. I really don't care.
I know how busy you are because you were invited to Donald Trump's inauguration and you had to stand him up. That wouldn't happen to him very often.
No, I got my priorities right. Look, I thought about it for a minute, I tell you what, I really did.
He was exposed with some fairly archaic attitudes, dreadful attitudes to women. Where did you stand on those, Pauline?
It was supposed to be a private conversation. Do I agree with what he said? No, I don't. Okay? It wasn't tasteful, but there's a lot of men that I've heard over the years say a lot worse than that.
I guess what he said in that bus, though, was fairly indicative of how he feels. It was pretty obnoxious, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But then again, would you not vote for someone who may do so much good for your country?
You're incredibly popular in Queensland, and people are even starting to talk about you as having the capacity to form a government one day. Do you think you have that capacity?
I do. Look, it won't be this election, right? We're not going to be government this election. If you're going to get anywhere near holding government, you must make sure that you've got all the seats filled to give you, the best chance.
You also, I guess, have to have the quality of candidates, and
Yes.
you've had a bit of instability there. You've got rid of a couple in WA for insubordination, and you are building a party from the ground up, and it's hard to get good help, isn't it?
Of course. Now, we have strict guidelines. They're informed about this, and you follow the guidelines. You follow direction, and if you don't want to do that, then don't stand under my name or the party's name. I've worked too hard to get where I am now for what I want to achieve for this country and for the people, that I'm not prepared to put up with any Richard heads or anyone who's not going to, play by the rules that I expect.
Are you in it for the long haul?
Oh, too right. Hey, listen, I haven't fought for 18 years to get back here, to be here for a short haul. No, Malcolm's Turnbull's, he's got me for quite a while. Or I might be there longer than what he is.